Hey folks, this is Ardwulf. Welcome to another episode of Ardwulf Presents. This is part 2 of the big Vanguard Let's Play on the Isle of Dawn. Where we left off was we had just completed a couple of quests up here, up the street in Gais Nusa for this NPC right here. And when we completed those, we got 2 more. We headed up this road to the village to log out, and now we have picked up 2 other quests from this NPC. To do next, and there's a whole bunch of additional ones that we will grab on the way. I've already actually been in here, but I haven't finished much of anything. The first place that you want to head on the way to Earth Den, which is the first dungeon in Vanguard that you encounter on the Isle of Dawn, is to this NPC. He does have a quest. That's the one that I did complete. And then you want to head a little farther down the road. There are 2 dungeons on the Isle of Dawn, one of which is Earth Den, which I'm heading towards right now, and the other of which is Temple of the Ancestors, which is the one that you reach around level 10. And then there's an outdoor area that I would consider kind of an outdoor dungeon in Vanguard terms as well, which we'll hit later on, somewhere between 5 and 10. As you can see, we're still level 5. This is actually a different character than we played on last time. This is on my actual paid account. We are having some lag issues here, by the way. I'm guessing that has something to do with the fact that there's actually kind of a ton of people on the Isle of Dawn at the moment. That's kind of, got a good side and a bad side there. Let's see if this guy is open to... got like a whole bunch of guys here. A whole bunch of players, that is, that we can potentially invite. I invited that dude already, right? Maybe I didn't. I'll invite him again and hope that I'm not like spamming him with invites, because that's lame. Okay, so he said no. That's cool. It's cool to say no. Not cool to be a dick. For Earth Den, and generally speaking for Vanguard, there are some dungeons that are soloable. This is one of them, but it's a lot easier to play this with. I don't know if I did this guy or not. He's probably activating that NPC, activating that quest item, but it immediately respawns. So, and the idea is to come down here, poison some food, close some portals, kill a bunch of hobgoblins, and these rock guys that are down here. Got another dude right here. As you may recall from the last episode, I am a blood mage. This guy I am grouped with, who's the only guy who appears to be particularly interested in grouping at the moment, is a bard, which is another one of Vanguard's very cool classes. As I mentioned last time, or in the previous video, I forget which, none of the Vanguard races or classes are completely locked out to free players. You are limited to level 20 on them, at which point you have to pay to unlock them. So, it's not necessarily the greatest system for free-to-play, but yeah, I think given the Vanguard in particular, and the fact that there's really a lot of cool classes. This guy's kicking ass compared to the sorcerer I was grouped with a few minutes ago, who was kind of not doing anything. This guy we need to... this may or may not be a named. I think it is a 2-dot name, which is not a terribly impressive named, but... I've got relatively high survivability on the Blood Mage, thanks to an ability that lets me... That might be something I want to equip right away. Not super duper useful, but it's not bad either. Oops. This is why it's good to be grouped in Earth Den, because there's guys around every corner. And some of the mobs are come in pulls of 2 and 3, and those are pretty tough, even at this level, to get through. Now there's another batch of quests up ahead here. Given out by this guy. And the first quest you will get just for being in the area. You go to him, listen to his story, and then turn it into him, and then he gives you, I believe, 4 additional quests. And one of which I've obviously just completed, so... So you do quite a bit down here. It's not an enormous dungeon in Vanguard terms, and here's our little lag meter down here. You can see that we're lagging again. And he gave us a pack, which I can actually, since I'm on my paid account, I can equip right away. Not terribly useful at this level, to be honest. But it's a decent pack, so I will be happy with it. Actually want to send this guy an invite as well. Nobody else to kill down here. Right at the bottom down here, there is a... Oh, and we got a whole big group going on down here. I am reasonably pleased with the population on the Isle of Dawn so far. I am playing sort of early afternoon on a Sunday here, so not exactly peak hours. Dwarf guy here is a cleric, so he's actually kind of more effective as a healer than I am at the moment. I do have some healing abilities, but I'm not an incredibly effective healer at this level. But I still have pretty good survivability too, so there's that. What's our loot set to here? Loot options, we want to set round robin, I guess. Since I don't want to actually be a dickhead and chew up all the loot. Okay, so we need some more fire imps. I actually like the cleric. I have played a cleric up to about level 8 in Vanguard. I actually like the Vanguard cleric. I like him a lot better than the World of Warcraft priest, which I never really got very high at all. Hopefully I will get credit for this portal closing here, because I didn't. That's unfortunate. I am reasonably happy. I mean, I'm level 5, so you never really know what's going to happen here. But I'm reasonably happy with my DPS output on this guy thus far. Vanguard is a game that has a surprising amount of depth under level 10, and after level 10, it becomes almost a whole new game. And that's where I would argue the real game actually begins. And I missed that one too. Am I getting credit for these? Nope. This is the issue with groups in Earth right here. And we have a named guy here. These guys are all like 2-dot named, so they're not like tremendously tough or anything like that. I'm almost finding myself in a group this big in this dungeon, which you know, 3 people is more than sufficient for. And it is soloable for certain classes if you're real careful. I can't say I found it particularly fun to solo, however. It is already in use. Got my group chat going. And these portals do not respawn quite as quickly, unfortunately. We got more than enough people. Whoops. It's kind of a dungeon filled with these narrow walkways, and... Damn it. Another dude down here. I'm really not terribly concerned with loot at this level. So I've got everything done except for the portals. Sure, I'm picking everybody up on my buff here. After we are done here, got the named again. He's 2 dots, but he's kind of tough for 2 dots. But I fought him before, and for one guy, he's for solo, and he's tough. For 4 guys on him, he's really not very tough at all. Two dots, this is something that I've mentioned before. A 2-dot mob is intended to be a solo mob. And under very rare circumstances, you might find it tough. And some are tougher than others, but generally speaking, they're eminently soloable mobs. 3-dot mobs are also generally soloable, at least by themselves. They can be difficult, especially in quantity. If you pull... I've found that with my Ranger, not the most soloable class in the game, but not the least soloable class in the game either, that 2 of them at a time is about all I can handle if they're even level mobs. There are some level 3 mobs here on the Isle of Dawn. I want to say there's even a couple level 4s in the Temple of the Ancestors. Those are heavy leather leggings, which I have absolutely no use for. The Bard might, though. We can try and trade that in a little while here. That guy bit it very quickly. These portals are only in the lowest level of Earthden too, so I haven't closed one yet, but I'm kind of content to let the other guys get them first. That's perfectly okay. Now, if they all bail at once they all have all 3, I'll be a little put out, but... Now, we're going to see how this shakes out in the long run, but generally speaking, the community in Vanguard has been very good. Partially, that's simply due to the fact that the community has been so small. Smaller communities mean better communities in MMOs. I have never seen or even heard of a MMO community where that wasn't true. The larger communities that you would find in the first Guild Wars, for example, or in World of Warcraft, are generally speaking filled to the brim with fucking tools and douchebags. So, you know, take that with, that's just my personal experience. But smaller community means better community, as far as I've been able to determine, which shouldn't surprise anybody. Douchebags tend to be more. And there's 2 guys that just jumped on my ass. Of Unfortunately, I am a blood mage and was able to bail myself out with this despoil ability, which gives me a heal based on the number of points of blood union that I have. You know, I'm going to go grab this damn thing. But I'll invite this guy to the group, too. I think it's safe to say that this is more people down here than I have ever seen. Not a dungeon that requires you to have as you can tell, exceptional group coordination or anything like that. There are plenty examples of dungeons like that in Vanguard. This really is kind of like my first dungeon. So, whoops. Maybe everybody's got all these, but well, somebody didn't. I don't know if that's a player or not. Looks like we lost somebody too. Okay, so there's one. And that's what I was afraid of. Everybody bolted as soon as I see no reason to try and do that. I'll invite this guy though. I think that particular one is one that I got already. And usually this is the case in Vanguard. I have already picked up this particular portal and I can't pick it up again. But I haven't picked up this one yet. So as long as I can kill this imp fast enough. Well, that imp was pretty weak. There we go. Alright, now we gotta get out of here. Which can be a hassle. However, we do know the sort of shortcut too. I'm going to leave the group. Since we're no longer coordinating in any meaningful sense whatsoever. And this despoil ability pulls some health away from the opponent and sends it to me. And the more blood union I have, the more I get. I want to say we are close to the top. We are. There's usually some hobgoblins standing out in front of this quest giver right here. So we're going to take care of this guy. And they spawn, everything down here respawns pretty quickly. The quest objects, of which there's a whole bunch, and the mobs as well. So be aware of that when you come down here. Just throw myself a heal while I'm at it.
Fair day, traveler.
And you can totally get jumped. We'll go with Vitality, I suppose. This guy's a ranger. bug out. We do not have anything like stealth on this guy, at least not at this level. I'm gonna guess and say he doesn't actually get them. Equip that ring and this earring. That you'll see that heal topped me right up. We're gonna, oops. That is the thing with Earth Den. Welcome to Earth Den, guys. This is definitely the Blood Mage, that is a highly soloable class in this game, but it's also a game that really shines in groups. And we don't particularly need to fight that guy. This guy's got a mount already. Must have bought it from the store, I would think. Inspect? I can inspect. Mount is Wolf Rider's Spirit Beast. Ah, I think this this person is like a shaman or something. And I think I can run down the middle here and not fight these guys, but since I think why not? Let's kill one or two of them. Since we're very close to level 6 here, and it would be nice to hit level 6. And we are back in town. Now I've got 3 quests to turn in here too, so I need to look at this Lost Charm quest too. That's something that dropped off a mob. I examined it. It gave me a quest. Let's take a quick look at that. I need to person by the name of Dosha Redwine, who looks like she's in town back here. And I do have, as I mentioned last time, you can toggle the objective targeting on here. It doesn't work for every quest, in my experience, but maybe that's something that has generally been fixed too. Who knows? It definitely does work for almost everything here on the Isle of Dawn. Not absolutely everything, I think, has an actual objective that you can target that way, but yeah, we don't actually want to go through here and fight some more hobgoblins that we've already killed. We'll go up here. I forget the name of the village. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the last episode or not. I might have. Isle of Dawn is in Vanguard terms, it's a pretty small area. It's a pretty small zone. I actually have to go down here to talk to this NPC too. So I'm actually kind of being a dumbass. It's not a super huge area in Vanguard terms. It's one chunk. There are other chunks. If you pull the map up, you'll see that there are other chunks around it, but those you can't. There is actually an invisible wall around the Isle of Dawn chunk. Maybe that's something we'll get to encounter at some... You see, we're lagging again here. Maybe that's something we will get to encounter. See if it's still there. I imagine that it is. There's our level 6. We'll complete that quest. Inform the magistrate's representative. I believe that is telling him about some ding-dong that we found down in Earth Den. Is Sun Village, okay. Usually, yeah, there you go. I gotta pop up now. So now let's, well, what's our current objective is the Elder here, who's standing out on the street. This village pretty much has all this stuff you would need to, trainers and vendors and all that business. So talk to him. We get Rope of Twilight, which is part of the Dawn Charm. Now let me show you my inventory. I picked this up last episode. This is the this rope and I think 3 of these little trinkets here all combine to form this Dawn Charm at the end of the quest line. And it is a highly desirable diplomacy item that scales with your level. Let's put it down here. That scales with your level all the way up, I believe, to level 50. So the current cap is 55, so it's you will replace it eventually, but if you're going to do diplomacy at all, then it's really worth having. We're going to turn our names off here.
Something to do?
This is round up chickens. Not my favorite type of quest. Before we even get into that, we're going to go around and check out new quests. Now, last episode I mentioned that down at 10 Trees Farmstead there's a harvesting trainer. That is incorrect. The harvesting trainer is this person. Okay, and I believe I have the quest for this already. I do not, actually. So we'll pick that. Okay, now, this guy is... I have no particular intention of advancing this guy in any trade skills beyond what I see on the Isle of Dawn. However, because I have pretty much that all covered with other characters. But what I will do is we're going to do harvesting, because we want him to be able to harvest, so we're going to pick this. And complete that quest, which doesn't give me any meaningful amount of... meaningful amount of adventuring XP. But am I actually almost level 7? I did turn in several quests, so maybe I am. That would be kind of awesome. Okay, so looking at this quest, practicing harvesting, I need to bring Isa Uyo a full resource. And I think there's some... Oh, geez, I don't even know what I want to pick. So for primary harvesting, we have 6 different choices. Quarrying, mining, and lumberjacking. Quarrying lets you harvest stone. Mining lets you harvest metal. Lumberjacking lets you harvest wood. Not for any tremendously important reason. I will choose... You know,